Hey guys, so just got back from the theater from seeing Two Guns. Um, Before I get into my review, though, I gotta tell you about my story about my theater going experience. Seems like I've had many of these this past year. This is the fourth one that's happened to me this year. Like fourth time I've had a story like this year. Unfortunately, and I I don't know what that says about the state of my movie theater. I don't know. But anyways, I get there to the theater, and this is something I've forgot to mention a few times in my reviews. But as many people will probably figure out, I'm one of the few people that goes to the theater every week, and there's also another guy that goes to the theater every week, like me. He's like an older gentleman who's in a wheelchair. He's very older. He goes with a lady, and he comes has a lady with him, I think, who drives him there. But anyways, he goes to the theater, and every time he goes there, I really dread having to sit through a movie with him, because especially if it's a comedy, because if he finds something funny, he goes ha ha ha. I'm not joking. That's like, I can't do it justice. It's like really higher than that, I promise. And like, it's to the point it's very hard to ignore. And sometimes like his laughter is like higher than the actual audio of the movie, and like I said, because very distracting. And sometimes he'll laugh at something that happened 2 minutes ago, and it's like his brain processes doesn't process the joke until 2 minutes later, and then he laughs at it 2 minutes later. It's really weird and really distracting. And like I said, I saw him go into my movie theater, and I'm like, oh no, this really sucks. I've got to sit for this movie with him, because I was like, this is supposed to be kind of like an action comedy, and luckily for me, that wasn't the least of my worries when it came to being at the theater today. Um, so they start the previews, and the first preview we get is Kick Ass 2. And Kick Ass 2 starts, the trailer starts, and I start noticing like that starts cutting in and out. And when it cuts back in, it the audio of the trailer is so off with the video that it's ridiculous, and it's very obvious. And it's obvious that the person behind the projector notices this, because they keep cutting in and out trying to fix it, but every time they turn it back on, it's still out of sync. So eventually they just had to shut the projector off, and now we're just staring at a blank screen. I'm like, oh no, not again. And eventually, after a few minutes, the manager comes in and says, unfortunately, the projector is not working, and we got a technician coming to help fix it, and but they haven't arrived yet, and unfortunately, that we don't know what time, how long it will take them to fix it. And because of that, if you want to go see another movie, you could. You could stay and wait for this movie to begin, or go see this movie later. And but at the same time, they were going to give us a free movie pass, even if we stayed to watch the movie, which was awesome. That's really nice for them to do. But unfortunately, there was this older black couple. I know it's going to sound racist, but it's the truth. They didn't want any of that. They were kind of like, well, can we get free popcorn for the inconvenience? So like, well, I don't know. The manager was like, I don't know if we could do that. But they're like, how about our money back? Can we have our money back? He's like, well, that's why I'm giving you a free movie pass, so we don't have to give your money back. But they wanted their money back. I'm like, really? Just take the freaking free movie pass. They were being really ignorant, really, honestly. But luckily, another manager came in to save the day, and they told us that they're fixing the projector right now, and it will take 5 to 10 minutes for the movie to start back up, and that they would start from the actual movie and skip all the previews. So I don't know what previews I would have gotten. So I'm not going to talk about previews at all today. So, we waited about 5 minutes and the movie actually started. So that was kind of cool. But again, I don't understand why people gotta be ignorant about they got their movie theater was nice enough to give us free movie passes. Just take it as that and just drop it. That's my opinion. What they should have done. Anyways, now let's get to the actual movie. Honestly, I really enjoyed Two Guns. I thought it was a pretty good flick. It wasn't a great movie. It was a pretty damn good movie. There were issues with it, which I'll talk about a little bit. But I enjoyed myself. I had a good time. I wasn't bored. I thought it was, like I said, thought it was entertaining. One of the best things about this movie was that was Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg. These two worked really well together, and they carried this movie immensely. Even though they had there wasn't really any bad performances in this movie, but they carried this movie. They were really good in this. The chemistry between the two was very good, and it made me go, man, I want to see more of these two work together. I want to see more movies where these two work together. I hope we get that sometime. The dialogue was really funny between them, and both their characters were really funny. But when their character, when they needed to be serious, their characters were serious also. So they weren't just exactly comic reliefs. They were also really well done characters, and I thought both. I love both actors. I mean, they're both very good. I like Denzel Washington especially, but I like Mark Wahlberg too. I had to get a drink. Sorry. But yeah, I like both. I like both of them in this movie. I like I said, this was a movie that came from the guy that his name's Baltazar Kormacor, I think. He did last year's Contraband with Mark Wahlberg, and I liked that movie. I thought it was pretty good. And so when I heard he was making this, I was like, okay, maybe I'll check this out. I thought the first movie I saw of his was really good, so maybe this one would be good. And this was. I thought this was really good, and that makes me interested to see what this guy does from this point forward. He's a pretty good action director. I also really like Bill Paxton in this movie. Whew, he was really he was really kind of frightening in this movie. He was really intimidating. I liked him in this role. He plays like a CIA agent that is trying to look for the money that Mark Wahlberg and Denzel Washington stole. And he's really good at this. I thought he was fun. I also liked the plot of this movie. I thought that was what kind of appealed me to this movie, was the plot. Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg were both Mark Wahlberg's a NCIS agent, and Denzel Washington's a DEA agent. Both that are undercover in a Mexican drug cartel, and both of them don't know that the other is an undercover agent, and both of them are trying to kind of turn the other in, and it's kind of funny, kind of weird, and I liked the idea. I thought it was pretty good. But while I talk about the plot being really good and I like the concept, one of my only really big issue with this movie is that, good Jesus God, does it get convoluted. In a plot that is kind of convoluted in the first place, it gets really convoluted in the last half. There's the CIA going after them, there's the DEA going after them, there's the NCIS, the naval military force is after them, and the reasons and the Mexican drug cartel's after them, for God's sake. And the reasons behind each is so somewhat, and to the point, at some points CIA's working with with the Mexican drug cartel, and the naval forces working with the Mexican drug cartel, and then at the same time they're double crossing each other and all this stuff, and it's like really confusing at times. I kind of lost track of what was going on at one point, and I was like, what the hell is going on? I'm just sitting there going, what the hell is going on? I'm like, is this the second movie in a row with Wolverine where I'm like, am I the only one getting a little confused on what's going on right now? Like some of the stuff, it was kind of hard to follow. Like people were double crossing, triple crossing, people left and right, and it was kind of confusing. Whose allegiances were with who. And I'm not saying this movie was a bad movie. I was just kind of like the Wolverine, where I was like, this movie was good, but it got really convoluted towards the last half. What else? There's one particular thing I could think on top of my head without kind of spoiling it. There's a character that kind of double crosses Denzel Washington's character, and kind of the motivations. You kind of understand the motivations of why she does it. This person does it. But at the same time, you're like, this character also dies. Spoiler alert, but I'm not saying who. And when they die, you're supposed to, I was left confused as to whether I was supposed to feel bad or feel happy about this character dying, because it wasn't really clear whether or not this character was a good guy or a bad guy. I could not understand that. It's like this person's last line of dialogue makes it her out to be a bad guy, and because of that, I'm like, so why am I supposed to feel bad about this? But then at the same time, how Denzel Washington reacts is kind of making this person out to be a good guy, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying not to give it away, so that's if it's confusing. If you see the movie, maybe let me know what you think. I'm sure you can probably figure out for who I'm talking about if you watch the movie. But yeah, it's just like I was really confused. It's like, was that person a good guy? The whole movie you're supposed to believe that this person was a good guy, but they kind of during the last half kind of double crossed Denzel Washington in the end. But then at the same time, you're supposed to really feel bad about the death. I'm like, I kind of don't. Honestly, I really kind of don't. Because they were kind of a dick to Denzel Washington, man. They double crossed him. Anyways, like I said, yeah, the plot is convoluted, and although with a plot the story is a little bit convoluted, but with a plot like this, you kind of expect it. But I think they went a little overboard at times, though, unfortunately, and that it kind of hurt the movie a little bit for me because I was really kind of confused, and that kind of sucked because the first half or so I was really into this. I was getting into this. I thought it was interesting. It wasn't too hard to follow either, but then it kind of got a little crazy. It went a little crazy towards the end, and but at the same time, I still liked this movie. I thought, like I said, Denzel Washington and all of them I thought all really good acting in this, and Denzel Washington, Mark Wahlberg are the best parts of this movie. But now I'm just kind of repeating myself, so this is gonna be a short review, but yeah, I would recommend seeing it. Definitely entertaining flick and something to check out. I had more to talk about with my story than the actual movie. That's because I actually kind of like. It's kind of hard to talk about a movie you like, and there was not much really to talk about either, when it comes to this movie. So, like I said, go see it. I thought it was pretty fun. It's entertaining. You haven't seen anything else. You've seen everything else. It's out now. Go see this. It's not a bad sit. I didn't regret watching it. I actually got to see it for free, so either way, I wasn't going to regret watching it. But next, I'll be back next week. Alright, I'm going to get off here. I'll be back next week with, I believe, Elysium. The new Neil Blomkamp film. Neil Blomkamp was the guy who made District 9. His new movie, kind of looking for, kind of interested to see what that is, or whether it's good or not. It kind of looks like a lot of this. I've kind of noticed though that the sets of the movie kind of look like leftover sets from District 9. Anybody notice that? Like a lot of the robots in that movie look like something that were left over from District 9. I mean, I'm the only one to notice that. And it's, I don't know, it's my only complaint for the trailers is that kind of just looks like kind of like another District 9. Like the whole world kind of looks like District 9 did. But I mean, it could still be really good. I like District 9, and then Matt Damon's in it, so you know I like Matt Damon. So I don't know, we'll be good. So I'll be back next week with that, and I'll see you guys later.